Job interviews means butterflies in the stomach, but can we avoid them? Definitely no. So what we can do is we can learn to face interviews like a pro and land that dream job that we wish to be in. So today's workshop is all about job interviews, preparation tips and techniques. Hi, my name is Martin. I work as the head of training. I'm an author of two books, Positive Selling and Basic Intelligence Development. I'm a business and personal growth coach as well. So, job interview is a type of interview in which it consists of a conversation between the job applicant and a representative of the employee, especially from the HR side. But when you go to the ops round, there will be other people, coming to take multiple interviews as well. In addition, this kind of interview is conducted to assess whether or not the applicant should be hired. Thus, this interview requires your preparation and carefulness. So, what are the things that we are going to learn in this workshop is how to prepare, for an interview, and how to appear, what should be your appearance during the interview, how to behave in the interview, and what are the questions that you will face during normal interviews. There are going to be some tricky questions as well, and how to answer those questions. And finally, there is one important part when they ask about your strengths and weaknesses, and how should you approach your strengths and weaknesses, and how should you explain it to the interviewer. So, things to do beforehand as a part of your preparation is know yourself to the fullest. That might help. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Are you ready for this job? Knowing how to overcome your nervousness might help a lot. There will be a lot of stress whenever you appear for an interview. But if you look or seem to the interviewer as very nervous, that will go as a negative point. So you have to learn to put your best foot forward and appear positive. Find out about possible questions that might appear as well as possible and their possible answers. Make sure that you understand how to explain or describe every single point inside your application document. You have, as the first round, you have sent an application document, whether it is a resume or a CV, and you have been shortlisted. That means they have seen certain things in you, in your resume. And those are the points of discussion that will mostly take place during the interview. So beforehand itself, whatever you have written in your resume, prepare as to how to present them accurately. Things to do during the interview: dress properly once you are about to attend the job interview. Don't be late. If at all, because of some unavoidable situation like traffic or commutation cancellation, etc., do call in and inform the interviewer that you are in the middle of such a situation and you will be late. Don't make them wait for you. Consider your manner during the interview. You have to behave, not take it as a casual or sarcastic or funny kind of situations. This is a process wherein a decision will be taken as to whether you are the best candidate suitable for the post. Do not be too casual and don't be too stiff as well. Not only in the words you speak and the way you appear, as well as in your dressing sense. You can go for, if you are a fresher, it is always better to wear a formals and ties and a tie, and don't forget to polish your shoes and wear matching clothes. Minimize your movements. A lot of hand movements and a lot of pacing means you are nervous, so minimize your body movements. Do not look away when answering the questions. That also shows you're not confident, or you're lying, you're bluffing. And interviewers are very well trained to study your body language and eye movements and learn, get a peep inside you and learn more about you as a person. Do not take too long when answering a certain question. It should be brief, but you can take probably 5 seconds to make up your mind and frame the answer, but not, too late. Get started with a job interview. Let's see how we start a job interview. Before directly heading to the specific questions, usually you would be asked to describe or tell the interview something about yourself. Explain. The first question is, can you explain, tell us something about yourself? And this is a very tricky question. This comes as an opener. Normally, this is done to ease the stress of the participant, but if not handled properly, that it can go negative. So while you are introducing yourself and telling things about yourself, just minimize things since they already know your name. So it is not necessary to mention your name again, but mention your latest education qualification, your latest experience in the chronological order. If you have done a lot of jobs, pick just one or two, the recent ones. And achievements, stress on the achievements. Choose the best ones, one or two related to the ones that you represent. Probably if you're going for an area sales manager's post, you can say for the last company, last quarter, how much you achieved, how many times you have been the topper in the sales achievement, how well you handle your teams, and how many of your team members got performance awards, etc. So some common possible questions, some of these are, tricky as well. How do you know about this job? This means, have you, done your research properly? Did the company approach you, or did you approach the company? Be frank in answering this question. What do you know about this company? Uh, Tell them what they would like to hear, or I tell them that it's a very good company and you'll be proud to work for such an esteemed organization. And also tell them why they are a good company, what is their market position, what customers are talking about them, etc. What interests you about this role? That is, the most tricky question. Why do you think, what part of the work? So it shows, do you know your KRAs and KPIs explained, in the JD? What motivates you as a person? What motivates you? What is your internal drivers? Why are you leaving your previous job? What are your goals in the future? Where do you see yourself in the coming 4 to 5 years? These are questions to know truthfully your answers, because remember, you have already written answers for these questions in your resume. And if you are contradicting your resume, then you will be exposed here. So be careful when answering, or give answers that is already mentioned in your resume. Why should you be hired? Why should we hire you? What makes you unique? This shows, if there are 10 participants appearing for the interview, why do you think you must be the one who should get the? This is where the confidence comes to play, your technical know-how, comes to play, and your urge to get that job comes to play, your commitment comes to play. What is your greatest challenge and how do you deal with your challenges? Now, we will be explaining, dealing with this question later as well. How do you handle stress? Definitely, working is under stressful situations. Do you have you in team situations and pressurize the situations and doing the job day in day out, 10 hours a day? How do you handle the situation? How much of salary do you expect is also a tricky question to situation. How much of salary do you expect means what, according to you, what do you deserve? How much earning do you want to get per month is your ambition. How much money do you want to earn in your life is your future goals after 5 years, after 10 years, where do you want to see yourself? What are your strengths and weaknesses? All these questions are important. So prepare, to answer them properly while you're preparing for the interview. Now, coming to the strengths and weaknesses, this is a very tricky issue. So let's see, some of the strengths that you must focus are the flexibility. how much flexible you are, your focus, your creativity, open-mindedness, scheduled, organized, innovative, high self-confidence, independent and decisive, able to, capability to take decisions on your own and challenging situations, hardworking and determined. So always, hanker around your strengths around these aspects. Don't go out of context and tell them that you are a humanitarian or, things that is not relevant to the job role. When it comes to weaknesses, it is insecurity, overtly detail oriented, overly analytical, nervousness, dealing with new people, slow in getting to used to with new stuff, arrogant, judgmental. Now, as a part of you knowing you yourself as a person, you have to rate yourself on these points and come to those weaknesses which are most delicate in your most apparent in you. But when you are explaining how to explain the weaknesses is something that we are going to discuss, see further, because you should not put a weakness that will nullify your eligibility to appear for the job. Therefore, some tips to deal with this kind of questions. One, explain briefly and clearly. Don't take paragraphs, because the more information that you give, you are one, divulge from the topic. Second, you're showing your nervousness. And third is, you probably will reveal something that you shouldn't. When telling weaknesses, give trust information. I mean, give the truest information, the correct information, the genuine information. Don't try to lie, but arrange your words carefully to minimize risk. Mentioning that you have been doing something to deal with your weaknesses. Okay, nobody is perfect. Every person has some or the other weakness. But are you a person who is strong enough or who is logical enough to tackle your issues and sort them out, take steps and sort them out yourself? And that is initiative all about. Try to avoid mentioning the weakness that has related to the job. Now, if you are appearing for a sales interview and you're saying that you have issues facing prospects, new people, or you have issues faced traveling. These are definitely counter to the job requirement. So do not mention such weaknesses. Being convinced and convincing while you are telling your strengths to rise the possibility of being hired. Also mentioning the strengths that have relation to the job. Okay, as the weakness also you should avoid. When you should avoid exposing weaknesses that is related to job, while explaining strengths, focus the strengths that is related to the job. It's okay to be honest about certain answers, like if you have been suffering from some kind of stress, if you have some issues at home, but do not panic. Tell them that, because everybody understands that the problems do occur. However, you cannot just leave the answer, I do not know. If a situation is thrown at you, and how will you react? You just cannot say you do not know. You must add, at least a response or reason to the answer. In addition, you could also ask time to think about it. You can tell them that, okay, I am facing this kind of a question for the first time. If you allow me a few minutes, like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I will think over it and give you my answer. Example, I am sorry, I apologize. Is it possible that we talk about this question later, probably after some time? I have been in that kind of situation. I just need more time to arrange my answer. Or I don't know how to answer this question, so allow me some time, and I will frame my answer and give it to you. So it was a tricky, we discussed a lot of tricky issues here. You go through this presentation multiple times to see the elements. So there are 3 or 4 important things that we discussed. What are the preparations that you should do before the interview? That is research about yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and about the company. During the interview, how to appear, and in the interview, how to answer and how to answer tricky questions and look confident and get that job, go after it and get it. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please do like, comment, and share. Have a wonderful day.